Welcome back to the 5-Minute Youth Ministry Coach. We're here to give you short, practical tools to help you lead students with grace and wisdom. This is episode 16 overall. This is episode 6 in our Successful Small Group series. And today we're going to talk about a moment that's going to come in every leader's small group time, probably many times if you stick with it. And that's what to do when a conversation goes off the rails. You know, whether it's crude, off topic, gossip filled, or not an appropriate conversation for your setting, you don't have to panic, but you do have to respond. The last thing you want to do is be that deer in the headlights, completely frozen, where it just continues to spiral and get worse and worse. So we're going to talk about 3 principles and strategies that will help you today. First, you want to understand what counts as inappropriate. Not every off-topic moment is a crisis. Some need immediate attention. So inappropriate doesn't always necessarily mean a vulgar conversation. It could be crude or offensive jokes. It could be gossip or criticism of somebody who's in the group or not in the group. It could be overhearing deep or sensitive information in a mixed or immature group. So remember, some people are talking with 16, 17, 18-year-old young men and women, and what's appropriate in their group is not going to be the same for your 11 and 12-year-olds. It could be a spiraling conversation that just feels like a distraction instead of discipleship in your group. So the key is not overreacting, but also not ignoring the harm that the group can suffer if we just continue to let this go, or the harm that somebody outside of the group can suffer. You know, for instance, a student sharing about struggles with their parents at home. We want some level of freedom to do that, but also small group is not the time to assassinate the character of moms and dads. For many of you who are moms and dads, you know, number one, I want somebody for my kids to be able to share with, and also their perspective is sometimes a bit twisted. Their side of the story is a part of the story and not the whole story. So we just want to be careful and sensitive to those things, not overreact, but also not just let everything continue to go. That's part of all understanding what is inappropriate for your group. And then once you've determined that, you want to match your response to the moment. So not every situation needs a fire hose. Sometimes a gentle redirect is enough. So here's a few different levels of responses that you might use at one time or another. So first, like gentle redirection. This can be, hey, let's stay focused here, or hey, that's a great thought, but let's bring it back around to the question, or interesting point, but I just want to make sure that we're all tracking with what the actual message was tonight. Let's try to continue to unpack and process that. And then maybe during our free time, we can pick up this other conversation. So those are just general redirections. Sometimes you need like clear boundary setting. You might say things like, hey, let's not talk about people who aren't here to speak for themselves. Or, hey, we speak highly. So I know a lot of times you guys kid around, but we're not going to joke at somebody else's expense in our group. We're not going to joke about that. Let's speak life. Let's speak highly and not shame. Or you might just say, hey, that crosses a line. Let's shift gears. And then you just move on real quickly. You don't have to shame them for it, but acknowledging that we're not going to go there, and then you just quickly get out of there. Also, one of the ways you might respond is private one-on-one follow-up. Sometimes a student shares something that is very important to be shared. And it's very important that they shared. And we want to affirm that. We don't want to squash it. But it might not be a great idea to share within the group. So you could say something like, hey, that's a really big topic, and I'm so glad you brought it up. But I think that might be better for a one-on-one conversation with me and you, or let's grab a leader after group or during free time tonight. Let's talk more about that outside a group so we can really give it the time that it deserves. So you want to affirm that they are brave enough to bring up a topic, but then you want to redirect to a more appropriate time for them to talk about it. And then remember, you want to shepherd the conversation, not just control it. The goal isn't to silence students, it's to protect the group and guide them towards what's helpful. So you want to be discerning. Is this student trying to derail the group, or are they just opening up awkwardly? You want to redirect with grace, but don't let toxic, harmful, or dishonoring talk continue unchecked. So if the graceful way is not working, then sometimes you just have to crank it up and be like, all right, We're not going there. Stop it. Next question. And you want to model what it looks like to speak the truth in love and build others up, not tear them down. You certainly don't want to be contributing to the inappropriate conversations in your group. So these moments can often catch you off guard. So it might be helpful for you to practice your tone or have some of these phrases ready. You might go to youthministry.coach and read the blog version of this so that you can actually read and see and then put some of those in your memory bank because you are going to use them. Calm confidence really goes a long way. Even if you need to be firm, you can always be kind. So this week, pay attention to how you lead the conversations. If something inappropriate pops up, don't freeze. Redirect with grace, speak clarity, and keep your heart focused on shepherding your students. The win isn't perfect control. It's guiding your group towards healthy, helpful, and holy conversations.